Welcome to another episode of...
Dude, I watched a movie last night.
Welcome everyone back to yet another episode of Dude, I watched a fucked up movie last night. Again, special thanks to Wilco and Katie for that awesome intro. And this time, unlike the last episode, which turned into a weird kill count video, I'm going to do this the way that Wilco and I actually intended for us to do these Dude, I watched a fucked up movie last night episodes. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out a movie called Vampire Clay. Now, I believe this is going to be a pretty fucked up movie. What we're going to do first is we'll have a look at the poster. I'll give some initial thoughts. Then we'll look at the trailer. And I'm going to try and guess what the movie's going to be about. Then I'll go off and watch the movie, come back, and let's have a chat about it, see how close I was to how fucked up the movie is compared to the trailer. So first up, let's check out the poster to Vampire Clay. Now, on this poster, I can see a weird looking hand holding out its 4 fingers and 3 strange looking monsters. Vampire Clay. I'm not sure I'm getting too much from the poster. So what could this be about? Let's think. Before we go into the trailer and get a bit more of an idea. Well then, obviously, I think this is about 3 demonic-looking dolls made out of clay who are vampires. So they would suck people's blood. But I don't see any teeth on these particular figures. I see fire eyes. That's pretty cool. Okay, so the synopsis says, absurdity and gore ensue as a possessed pile of clay begins terrorizing students at an art school. All right, cool. All right, so now let's check out the trailer together and see what it's about. Okay, welcome back to that short break. That was just while I went off and found the trailer. Let's check it out. It's 1 minute and 25 seconds long. So let's press play. Oh, look, it won awards. That's always a good sign. The Ania Academy. Alright, so I've got a woman. Oh, that woman looks really familiar. She's from Horror Doll. Oh, so she's dug up some clay. Okay. And the students are saying that they think the clay is different. That's nice. Alright. The clay buster's eating her head. Alright. Oh, there's that f***ed up hand from the movie. A movie where people are eaten by sculptures. Okay. Okay. That looks like a rat. There's a rat in it now. So it's a semi-slasher. Okay. There's a semi-slasher here. Clay that integrates with humans and attacks people. Alright, that could be something. So bad, it kills. Yeah, this is definitely a great candidate for Dude, I watched a f***ed up movie last night. Vampire Clay. Alright, let's check out what I think it's going to be about. So the trailer gives away that it's set in some kind of art school. Didn't look like there was a lot of students at that art school. So it's about an art school. We've got a clay that's been, looks like it was dug up from the ground. The teacher has given it to the students. They make a bust of themselves and it bites one of the students. So going on that and some of the information that the trailer already gave us, I think this is going to be a movie about clay that takes over... No, that's too crazy. Oh, wait, but it is f***ed up. Clay that takes over the body of the victims that it bites and then attacks other victims in order to create more clay statues. So at the end of the movie, I'm anticipating we've got a whole bunch of clay statues of the students. And they're going to have to stop it. I don't know, maybe, what do you do to clay? you cook clay, you kiln it. So maybe they have to throw people. That's really fucking morbid. That would be. Maybe they throw people into a kiln to stop them, and that's the way that the movie will end. So it's set in a school. The clay bites the person, turns the person into a clay statue or a monster that will then go around attacking the other students, and the way that they stop it is by cooking the clay and smashing it apart. All right, that's what I think it's about. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the movie, and I'm going to come back, and we'll see how close I was. Enjoy. Okay, so I'm back from watching Vampire Clay. Now, let's see how far off I was to what I originally just said. And I think I was semi-close, but not quite close. So let's check out what the movie was about. The parts we got right. So it is set in an art school in a rural place. The teacher digs up some clay. This fantastic student comes back from Tokyo, can't find her clay because a new student's taken it. So she takes this mysterious clay, and then she brings it back to life, or brings it back to elasticity, and starts making things out of it. Now, one of the projects the teacher gives them is to make a bust of themselves. And she gets very upset because she doesn't like what anyone does. One of the girls in the class is jealous of the girl that went to Tokyo because she had all this classical training. So one night she stays back and tries to sabotage her bust, but the bust bites her and takes her over. So what kind of does happen is the clay does take over people's bodies, but it doesn't turn them into clay statues. It just turns them into some kind of mindless zombies. And their intention then is to keep killing other people and passing the clay onto the next person. So kind of that part I got right about this, the clay taking over the bodies, but I didn't see the fact that it looks like they turn into zombies to do it. I thought they would just turn into clay statues for some reason. There is a backstory that's given about why the clay is killer. I don't get the whole vampire thing, but then I suppose biting people is a vampire trope, and that's kind of what the clay does. It bites people or draws blood off the person to pass on. But interestingly, and now this is a spoiler. I assume this is going to be a spoiler. Interesting that the way that the clay is defeated, not quite kiln burned, because they didn't seem to have a kiln to cook the clay in, but they use something to cook the clay, which they then smash up into dust. So kind of that part, I think I semi got that bit right. It's a crazy film though. It is a lot of fun. It's I wouldn't even call it B grade. It's those couple grades lower, that DE grade Japanese J-horror film, but it actually looks quite well done. And it's not crappy at all. The acting is pretty good. And I think I mentioned that the teacher from the trailer that you saw is from the movie Horror Doll, which was made around the same year as this. And that's been a very popular video on the channel every time I talk about Horror Doll or Japanese doll. So it's the same actress in that, and she's in a lot of horror movies. So it's good to see a familiar face. And actually, all the girls are kind of cute in this film. It's unfortunate that they all kind of get... One thing that has to be mentioned is I'm saying it. Fantastic visual effects, because they are all stop motion, and it's a very big kind of throwback to the 30s, 40s Harryhausen style stop motion animation. It is. When I saw that massive stop motion scene at the end, that was just fantastic. So it is a craptacular movie. That's what it is. But it is one of those so bad it's good movies, and it's a movie that I think you should watch. Because it's short. It's only 80 odd minutes long. It's not that J horror that you're expecting with the Yuris and the white dresses. This is that whole phase of cheap Japanese horror that kind of emulates more Western style horror. That just goes for kind of crazy scenarios. And it does it with this. Now, on the poster, there are those weird looking statues. They're explained at the end with the backstory about the clay. they actually don't play that big a part in the movie. Like, they don't appear in the school, or the people don't turn into those statues. Those statues are at the end. They belong to this whole crazy guy who's behind this whole thing. So at least that's kind of explained. But it's a bit of a, you think, how else are you going to sell the movie on the poster? It's probably a good one. Interestingly, the movie leaves itself open for a sequel, which has been made. There is a sequel to this movie. And thus, I think this movie has potential to be a franchise. Killer Clay, Vampire Clay, it's great. I would personally love to see more, and I think this falls under the dude, I watched a f***ed up movie last night banner, only because of the crazy nature of it. If I was to give it a rating, and I'll use the ghost rating, great horror or stupid trash, because that's what I do with all the horror movies. In reality, it's probably just a 2 ghost movie, but because I'm going to rate this more for fun and the enjoyment that I had while watching it and like the f***ed up scale, I reckon this goes more towards a 3, maybe even a 4. But I think I'm going to give it a 3 ghost movie because there's going to be a lot more f***ed up movies than this one that we will watch in this series. And I don't want to go too hard too early on the ratings. But this one, mildly f***ed up. A lot of fun. I think you should watch it. Vampire Clay, about killer vampire, targeting very cute art girls. Give it a shot. See you next time.